The story kicks off with Takamura Chinatsu in class, her attention fixated on Nemuro, the mysterious boy sitting next to her. His face remains hidden behind a thick curtain of hair, making his appearance a mystery to most classmates. She wonders if he can even see through all that hair. He doesn't stand out, rarely spoken to, quiet, almost invisible. A gust of wind sweeps through the classroom, pushing his hair aside to reveal a surprisingly handsome face. Soft eyes and delicate features catch her off guard, a side no one ever sees. Another burst of wind rushes in, sending papers and books flying from his desk. Startled, he scrambles to stop everything while the curtain flaps wildly. As he gathers his things, a voice from the back asks if he's okay. Flustered, he replies he's fine, though clearly shaken. Chinatsu, watching quietly, picks up his pen and hands it to him. He accepts it with a surprised, grateful look, offering a soft thank you. Class continues, but the girl can't stop staring. She glares subtly, repeating to herself that he has a pretty face. Internally, she marvels at how cute he is, even wondering if he hides his face to avoid being swarmed by admirers. The bell rings. A classmate asks what she's doing. Chinatsu admits she's memorizing his face, calling him His Highness. Her friend teases her, asking if he's really that cute. Chinatsu sighs, frustrated that no one else sees it. She recalls something from a few months ago. After school, her friend leaves for a council meeting, and Chinatsu heads home alone. She spots a school ID book in the hallway and decides to return it. Flipping through, she realizes it belongs to a first year. Her eyes widen. The boy in the photo is beautiful. His name, Nemuro. Mesmerized, she stares, wondering who he is. Lost in admiration, she unknowingly takes it home. Only when lying on her bed does she remember in panic. At home, she sighs, deciding to return it tomorrow. She tells herself she can hand it to him, justifying keeping it longer. Laughing nervously, she insists she's not being creepy, though she secretly snaps a photo of the ID. The next day, she visits his classroom and asks for Nemuro. He comes out, politely asking what she needs. She hands him the ID, explaining she found it. He looks stunned, perhaps wondering if she peeked inside, but quickly thanks her. Chinatsu walks away disappointed she didn't see his face. Now in the present, she wonders if anyone would believe her if she showed the photo, but knows it'd breach privacy. It's strange they ended up in the same class, and stranger still, beside each other. Her friend asks if she only likes him for his face. Chinatsu says yes. Her friend is stunned, hoping she liked him for more. Chinatsu shrugs. She knows nothing else about him. Her friend calls him an idol who heals the soul, but Chinatsu compares him to a baby seal, just nice to look at. Her friend admits she doesn't get it. Chinatsu stands, telling her friend she's satisfied just catching glimpses of him. She recalls how he hides his face and thinks it'll be tough to delete the photo. It feels like a waste. Later, heading to the restroom, Chinatsu enjoys the secret of knowing his real face. Lost in thought, she bumps into him. He falls to the ground. She gasps, apologizing and worrying he's hurt. He assures her he's fine, though shaken. She notices he fell on his hands and gently holds one, showing concern. He smiles shyly and asks if she's able to get up. Heart pounding, she offers to take him to the nurse, but he insists he's fine and walks off. She reflects on how he worried about her despite her knocking into him. She remembers his gentleness. Looking at the photo on her phone, she admits she knows only his face. As the bell rings, she quietly resolves to learn more about him, beyond looks. Still lost in thought, she doesn't notice the teacher until he knocks on her head, pulling her back to the present. Now sitting in class, Chinatsu is captivated by fleeting glimpses of Nemuro's beautiful face. She senses he has a kind nature, though she knows little else. He simply sits quietly, gazing out the window. She still recalls the moment she saw him up close, unable to look away. Now she finds herself wishing to see him again. During gym class, as students line up for their turn to run, she notices it's Nemuro's turn. Takamura watches eagerly, hoping to catch a clearer view of his face. But as he starts running, her anticipation fades. He moves slowly, painfully slow, like a turtle. Her friends begin to laugh, and even Chinatsu can't stop herself from giggling. Still, her main reason for watching him isn't his speed, it's his face. She hopes that maybe, just maybe, running would shake his hair enough to reveal it. But even that hope proves futile. His hair stays in place, his face still hidden. Frustrated, she shouts for him to run properly, earning a scolding from a nearby teacher for being too loud. Even then, she can't take her eyes off him. Later, by the water fountain, a glint catches her eye. For a second, she thinks it's an angel. But it's just Nemuro, his figure bathed in sunlight as he drinks from the fountain, the light making him glow. She stares, heart racing, mesmerized by the quiet elegance of the moment. He doesn't seem to notice her, until she accidentally bumps the faucet. Water sprays out wildly, splashing everywhere. In a panic, Chinatsu yells his name, worried he'll get soaked. She rushes forward, trying to stop the flow, grabbing at the faucet and shouting. After a few frantic moments, the water finally stops. She exhales in relief. Nemuro, just as wet as she is, looks at her with a surprised expression. They're standing close, too close. Her heart pounds as she sees his face clearly for the first time, hair damp and clinging to his skin. Up close, he looks even more beautiful than she imagined. His long eyelashes, the soft contours of his face, and the small mole under his eye, all of it leaves her lightheaded. She can't look away. Then Nemuro speaks. He stammers her name, clearly flustered by how close they are. His soft voice jolts her back to reality. She freezes, suddenly self-conscious, realizing how long she's been staring. He apologizes for startling her and asks if she's okay. She laughs nervously, brushing it off and saying she's fine, her cheeks burning. He frowns slightly, still concerned, and repeats his question. Again she insists she's okay, saying the sun will dry her off soon enough. But inside, her heart continues to race. Being this close to him is overwhelming. As they stand there, clothes dripping, Chinatsu can't help but think how Nemuro, in this vulnerable and unguarded moment, is even more charming than before. It's almost too much to take in. Her feelings are becoming clearer now, and she wonders just how far this fascination will go. Then Nemuro notices her. Without hesitation, he slips off his jacket, still slightly wet, and offers it to her. He tells her to wear it anyway. She blinks, stunned, as he hands it to her. Hesitating for a moment, she finally accepts it. As she clutches the jacket, she wonders why he's being so kind. He seems fine despite being soaked himself. Before she can say anything, he quickly runs off, telling her to return it later in class. Left standing there, she mumbles to herself in confusion. She looks down at the jacket in her hands. She reminds herself it's no big deal. She has a camisole under her shirt. Moreover, she can't deny it. He really is beautiful. But then she spots the stitched name on the jacket. She lets out a nervous laugh. Is wearing his jacket more awkward than the whole water fountain fiasco? Still, she can't help but smile. Despite everything, she thinks, Nemuro must be a genuinely kind person, probably even kinder than he lets on. The narrative shifts to Chinatsu's friend's perspective as Nemuro walks to the board. She watches with curiosity. She's heard about his beautiful face, though she's never seen it for herself. After school, as they walk home, Chinatsu complains about not seeing Nemuro's face that day. Her friend responds half-heartedly, prompting a frustrated snap to at least pretend to care. She reflects on how strange Chi-chan's fascination has become. Lately, it seems almost like an obsession with his face alone. It's odd because she never showed interest in idols or actors. When her friend suggests she just ask Nemuro to show his face, Chinatsu refuses. For her, the most special thing is the fleeting moments when it's revealed. Her friend stares, then bluntly calls her creepy. Chinatsu lowers her voice, saying Nemuro might be hiding his face on purpose. Her friend is surprised, but Chinatsu quickly changes the subject, saying she's hungry. Even as they walk off, the idea lingers. Maybe Nemuro has his own reasons. He is plain and quiet, always alone. Maybe it's hard to understand him when no one can even see his face. The next day, as Okuyama tries to clean the blackboard, she struggles to reach the top. Just as she turns to call Chi-chan for help, Nemuro steps in and offers instead. She's caught off guard by his kindness. At that moment, he doesn't seem like a bad person. She begins to wonder if Chinatsu knows more about him. She walks over to Chinatsu and asks if the only thing she likes about Nemuro is his face. Chinatsu confirms it without hesitation. Okuyama pauses, realizing she doesn't really know him either. Later, during PE, Nemuro runs as slowly as ever. Chinatsu and her friend grow frustrated. Okuyama shouts that he's as slow as a turtle. She can't understand him. He just seems clumsy. As they part ways after class, Chinatsu heads off to grab a drink. In the girls' changing room, Okuyama sits mid-change, lost in thought. She doesn't care about Nemuro's looks. She wants reliability for her best friend, and he doesn't seem capable. She sighs, thinking about Chinatsu's comment that she only likes his face. Maybe she's overthinking it. Chinatsu doesn't often talk about boys anyway. Just then, Chinatsu walks in. Okuyama is about to scold her for being late. but freezes. Shinatsu is wearing Nemuro's jacket. She apologizes, saying there's no need to wait for her to go to the classroom. But her friend can't look away from the jacket. She points at it and asks. With a smile, Shinatsu explains that Nemuro accidentally caused the water fountain to go off, drenching her, so he lent her his jacket. Okayama stares, stunned, then jokingly asks if this is a boyfriend jacket reveal. Shinatsu waves it off. He only lent it because she was soaked. That reassures her friend a little. Shinatsu adds that she thought she might as well wear it, since he was kind enough to lend it. Then, blushing slightly, she admits it's a little embarrassing. Her friend notices and asks what she's thinking about. Shinatsu admits she can't stop thinking about how flustered Nemuro was at the fountain. Before, all she knew was that he had a pretty face, but now it seems he's genuinely kind too. Her friend smiles as she puts the jacket away, saying it's nice to know he's kind, even if quiet. Elsewhere, Nemuro still frets over the fountain incident, wondering if Takamura will forgive him. The next day, Nemuro sits in class, an eraser in his hand, his face hidden as always behind his long hair. As he begins to use it, the eraser suddenly slips from his fingers, bounces back, and lightly hits his face. For a brief moment, his features are revealed. Shinatsu, sitting beside him, catches a glimpse and immediately blushes. She peeks over at him, wondering what he's doing and thinking he's so cute. Nemuro quickly pulls his hair forward again, covering his face. Shinatsu sighs inwardly. He has such a pretty face, but he really doesn't want anyone to see it. Later, during lunch, Shinatsu and her friend sit together, making plans for a meetup. Shinatsu's gaze drifts toward Nemuro, who eats alone at a nearby desk. She wonders why he's always by himself, even during lunch breaks. It's such a shame, she thinks. If only he showed his face, people might actually want to talk to him. She turns her attention back to her food, deciding that maybe he prefers solitude and that she should mind her own business. Her friend, however, fumes quietly, annoyed that Shinatsu isn't paying attention to their conversation. On her way to meet her friend later that day, Shinatsu spots Nemuro inside a store, standing at a keychain vending machine. She calls out to him, and he greets her politely. Curious, she asks what he's doing. Nemuro explains that he's trying the geisha machine but hasn't been able to get the keychain he wants. He points to a small turtle mascot inside the machine. Shinatsu looks at it and thinks it's cute. Is he into cute things? She wonders. Nemuro then asks if she's on her way somewhere. She tells him she's meeting Mayuko-chan soon and asks if he's out alone. He nods, saying he was just shopping when he saw the geisha machine and couldn't resist trying it. She reflects that even on his day off, he's by himself. As Nemuro opens the prize ball, it reveals a shark mascot and looks disappointed. She notices his expression and asks which one he was hoping for. Nemuro states that he wanted the turtle mascot. Shinatsu quietly wonders if that's what cute means for him. Frustrated, he tries again. She watches, surprised at how seriously he's taking this. She's used to seeing him spaced out, but now she sees another side of him, focused and determined. He opens the second capsule, another shark. His expression falls. Shinatsu tries to lighten the mood, calling it just another unlucky pull. Without a word, Nemuro stands and heads off for more coins. She realizes he's not giving up. On impulse, she tries the machine herself. As he walks away, she calls out excitedly, holding up the capsule with a bright smile. It's the turtle mascot. Nemuro's eyes widen, lit with joy. She offers it to him, saying she only played on whim. He hesitates, saying it wouldn't feel right to just take it. Instead, he offers a trade, the chick mascot. He asks if she prefers something else, but she quickly agrees. They swap keychains, and Nemuro thanks her with a sincere, beaming smile. As they part ways, Shinatsu walks away with a quiet smile. She never imagined she'd talk to Nemuro outside of school, especially on a day off. It was unexpected, but fun. Watching him leave, she reflects on how her view of him is slowly changing. She once thought of him as just a boy with a beautiful face, but now she sees something more. She glances at the chick mascot in her hand and smiles softly. Furthermore, she decides that next time at school, she'll try talking to him again. Later, when she meets up with Mayuko-chan, she's immediately scolded for being late. Shinatsu apologizes with a sheepish smile. Her friend pauses, eyeing her curiously, and asks if something good happened. Shinatsu is taken aback, but keeps her cool and replies, maybe. Mayuko presses her for details, but she refuses, saying it's too embarrassing. Still, her friend keeps pestering her, eager to know more. In the morning, the chick keychain rests on Shinatsu's desk in front of her alarm clock. Her mother calls from outside, warning she'll be late. As she rushes to leave, she spots the keychain, smiles, and clips it to her bag. Later in class, she greets Nemuro upon entering the class. He quietly replies. Chinatsu asks about the English homework, admitting she stayed up all night to finish it. Nemuro nods, showing little interest. She mentions seeing a cute cat at the school gate. Another nod. She talks about first period. Yet another nod. Finally, she brings up a TV program, and he says he didn't watch it. As silence settles, Chinatsu grows frustrated. She needs to find something he cares about, she thinks. Her eyes land on the chick keychain, a reminder of their trade. She asks what character it is. Nemuro explains it's from an anime called Mitoru, based on a children's book. Chinatsu notices a matching keychain on his water bottle. He starts telling the story. One day, while swimming in the ocean, Mitoru sees a school of fish and realizes how alone he is, so he sets out to find friends. Nemuro talks at length, excitedly explaining how thrilled he was when more characters appeared in the anime. Chinatsu's head spins. She didn't expect him to say so much. She even admits she zoned out. But he continues, telling her he discovered Mitoru in preschool and has collected the books and merchandise ever since. He smiles, stating he's loved the story for years and wishes it were more popular. Chinatsu comments that if he likes it so much, she should check it out. His eyes light up, and his hair shifts just enough to reveal his face as he asks if she means it. Chinatsu is startled, but before she can answer, he hides behind his bangs again, apologizing for getting carried away. She feels a pang of frustration. She wishes she'd taken a photo of his excited face. Nemuro notices her expression and gently asks if something's wrong. She shakes her head. He apologizes again for rambling, then hesitantly wonders if it's strange for a high schooler to like a kid's show. Chinatsu smiles, reassuring him that people can enjoy whatever they want. She adds that listening to him was actually fun. Nemuro smiles back, a little more at ease, and thanks her. A flicker of happiness stirs in Chinatsu. She not only saw his face, but also learned something he genuinely loves. Then he asks what she likes to watch. She shrugs, explaining she usually just follows whatever's trending. I can't tell him I like watching his face the most, she thinks. She casually mentions a popular mystery drama. Nemuro asks where to watch it. Chinatsu agrees to share the details. In return, he says that since she's willing to try Mitoru, he wants to try something she enjoys, if that's okay. She's struck again by how thoughtful he is. It reminds her of that moment at the geisha machine, how he never acts carelessly. They exchange streaming sites, and the quiet connection between them deepens. Later in class, Chinatsu glances his way. His head's down, maybe asleep. Unusual, since he normally takes notes. Maybe he's tired from talking so much. He's kind of like a kid, she thinks with a quiet smile. As the period ends, she figures he'll wake up soon. He's slept through all of first period. Her friend calls out, reminding her their next class is in the audio-visual room. On the way there, Chinatsu realizes she forgot her notebook. She waves Mayuko ahead, promising to catch up. Her friend warns her not to be late. She rushes back to the classroom and finds Nemuro still asleep. No one seems to have noticed. Leaning down, she gently calls to him. He doesn't move. A breeze from the open window lifts his bangs. Chinatsu freezes. His sleeping face is beautiful, almost too perfect. She whispers under her breath that even asleep, he looks amazing. She leans in slightly, eyes tracing the clarity of his skin. Does he do skincare? Suddenly, Nemuro stirs. He jolts upright, startled by her presence. She quickly explains the class has moved. Still covering his face, he asks if she saw it. Chinatsu lies, says his bangs were in the way. He relaxes slightly, admitting he thought she was teasing him. Her laugh comes out awkward. He's really trying to hide his face, she thinks. Later, they're running down the hallway together. Chinatsu urges him to hurry, noting with amusement how his hair sticks up from sleep. As they run, she reflects on the shift between them. Instead of just sneaking glances from afar, she actually talked to him, and it was fun. Maybe she wonders if she gets closer, he'll start to show the parts of himself he always hides. Or maybe she's hoping for too much. The following day, Mayuko enters the classroom and sees Chi-chan and Nemuro talking. Chinatsu asks if he's done the math homework, admitting she couldn't solve one question and hopes it won't be on the test. Nemuro agrees that the questions are hard, then offers to show her his notes. She gratefully accepts, saying it will help a lot. She adds that she's nearly caught up on the anime he recommended. It's been a while since she last watched anime, but this one is fascinating. Nemuro offers to lend her the original DVD, and Chinatsu nods, happy to borrow it if he's okay with that. From a distance, Mayuko watches, eyes narrowing. They've been getting close lately, too close, she thinks with suspicion. Nemuro brings up the mystery drama she recommended, still shocked by the twist ending. Chinatsu lights up, agreeing it was wild, and quickly pulls out her phone to show him another series he might enjoy. Mayuko watches, heart skipping. Their faces are too close, she gasps, then forces the thought away. No way they're dating. Chi-chan would have said something. She remembers Chinatsu once brushing him off, claiming she only liked his face. Besides, they sit next to each other. It's normal to talk. Still, something nags at her. Is she seriously dating him? At recess, the topic is Nemuro. During lunch, still Nemuro. On the way home, nothing's changed. They stop at a toy stall, and Chinatsu picks up a plushie, smiling as she notes it's a character Nemuro likes. She muses aloud about telling him tomorrow. Mayuko's eyes drift to the chick keychain on Chinatsu's bag, then back to the plushies. She asks about it. Chinatsu shrugs. It was a trade with Nemuro. No big deal. But Mayuko stiffens. The words tumble out, "Are you dating him?" Chinatsu quickly denies it, insists it was just a keychain exchange. Nothing more. The next day, Mayuko can't stop thinking about it. A keychain from the guy next to her desk? From his favorite anime? Hanging it on her bag. There has to be something there. She recalls how she used to daydream about cheering Chi-chan on in love. But now that it feels real, unease creeps in. If Chinatsu gets a boyfriend, things will change. No more walking home, late-night chats, shopping trips, or movie nights. Sitting alone on the stairs, she admits it. Jealousy's making her a bad friend. Still, instead of confronting Chi-chan again, she decides to go to the source. When Nemuro passes by, she calls out, stopping him in his tracks. He's surprised. He only knows Okuyama as Chinatsu's close friend. Bluntly, she asks if they're dating. Nemuro blinks, caught off guard. She presses further. Do they like each other? Shy but honest, Nemuro admits he likes her. Mayuko stares, stunned. He goes on. He's never really had friends before. But Takamura started talking to him every day. She listened, never laughed at his interests, and made him feel at ease. For the first time, someone actually talked to him. He thought maybe they could be friends. Mayuko's mind spins. Friends? Does he mean just friends? She almost asks, but doesn't. Chinatsu's face, glowing as she talked about his favorite anime, flashes in her mind. If she tries to ruin this, she realizes she won't be much of a friend. The jealousy doesn't disappear, but she pushes through it. With a small nod, she tells him they are friends already. He fumbles, uncertain. She clarifies. They talk every day. They enjoy each other's company. That's what friends do. She's sure Chinatsu feels the same. Nemuro blushes, clearly flustered. Mayuko softens, apologizing for putting him on the spot. She claims she just wanted to make sure there weren't any weirdos around Chinatsu, but adds that he seems harmless enough. Nemuro blinks, confused about the weirdo part. Before heading off, she turns and says he should include her in their chats from now on. After all, she's Chi-chan's friend too. That makes 3 of them. Nemuro nods, a little shy but willing. As they walk back toward class, Mayuko urges him to pick up the pace, then slips on the stairs. Nemuro grabs her from behind to steady her. At that exact moment, another student passes by and freezes at the sight. Nemuro holding Mayuko close from behind. A short distance away, a blonde-haired boy spots them. His eyes widen the moment he recognizes her, but before he can move, a teacher grabs his arm and begins scolding him for skipping counseling. He struggles to break free, protesting, but the teacher drags him off down the corridor. Nemuro, still holding her, feels a slight tremble in his hands. He checks if she can stand. She straightens, brushes herself off, and quietly thanks him. When she lifts her head, she recalls seeing his face clearly for the first time. She instantly understands what draws Chi-chan in, but for her, there's no spark. After a brief pause, she suggests they return to class. As they walk in, Chinatsu glances up. Her gaze darts between them, brows furrowing with suspicion. The unspoken question hangs in the air, but Nemuro offers no response. Later, he stands in front of the vending machine, scanning the drinks. His hand hesitates near the milk tea, Chinatsu's favorite. A small smile touches his lips. He reaches out to press the button. Before he can, a loud thud beside him breaks the moment. A hand slams against the machine, and Nemuro freezes. The blonde-haired boy looms over him, eyes sharp with irritation. Nemuro tenses as he brings up the stairway incident. Down the hall, Chinatsu and Mayuko approach upon seeing this. The boy grabs Nemuro's collar, shaking him lightly while pressing the accusation again. Nemuro barely reacts, too startled to respond. When Chinatsu steps forward, she slaps him hard. He crouches, stunned. As he rubs his cheek, his attention shifts to Mayuko. His expression changes completely, brightening. He moves toward her, but she plants her palm firmly on his forehead, keeping him back. Her expression demands an explanation. The boy points at Nemuro, referencing what he believes he saw earlier. Realization dawns in Mayuko's eyes. She glances at Chinatsu, then calmly explains the truth, that she slipped, and Nemuro only caught her. Pulling the boy aside, she warns him not to stir up drama. Chinatsu might misunderstand. The closeness seems to affect him, but he tries to act unfazed. Meanwhile, Chinatsu places a reassuring hand on Nemuro's shoulder. She reminds him it was just a misunderstanding. He nods, grateful. Her faint smile lingers, her heart quietly stirring at the thought of seeing his face again. She gives a brief rundown of the blonde-haired boy, Oz, a delinquent from the class next door who's been pursuing Mayuko since middle school. Persistent, rejected, and mostly a nuisance. The thought unsettles Nemuro. Not long after, Oz reappears beside him with an exaggerated grin, clapping him on the shoulder in an overly familiar way. He insists the situation was just a mix-up. Nemuro responds cautiously. Oz introduces himself as Mayuko's future boyfriend, drawing a blunt rejection from her. He ignores it, already shifting focus. The wheels in his head turn. If Chinatsu and Nemuro keep getting close, Mayuko might be left behind, and he could be there to step in. He flashes Chinatsu a thumbs up, confusing her, then smacks Nemuro on the back again, proposing they be friends. Nemuro agrees reluctantly. Oz laughs, throwing in a jab about how boring and gloomy he seems. Chinatsu's expression darkens, and she sharply warns him. Mayuko adds her own push, urging him to get back to class before his mouth causes more damage. He misreads her annoyance as something else entirely and walks off with a spring in his step, assuming she's following. Once he's gone, Chinatsu apologizes. Oz might be loud and thoughtless, but he's not dangerous. Nemuro doesn't need to take him seriously. Nemuro responds with a quiet nod. Later, Chinatsu sits at her desk when Nemuro walks in. She brings up a store that just started selling Mitoru merchandise, trying to spark a conversation. He cuts her off, mentioning he's heading home. She assumes he has errands and lets it go, but as he walks down the hallway, his shoulders are low, and his gaze never lifts from the floor. The thought lingers in his mind, heavier with every step. Maybe Chinatsu shouldn't be wasting time on someone like him. The next day, they sit together as usual, but something feels off almost immediately. Nemuro seems distant, his eyes unfocused and wandering. Chinatsu notices the difference. She remembers offering him sweets the day before, and how he only shrugged, completely unlike him. Later, when she talked about a new song she liked or her brother's ridiculous bed hair, he barely reacted. Even when she mentioned spotting Mitoru in a magazine, his only response was a flat, emotionless remark. Each moment adds up, and the coldness begins to sting more than she wants to admit. That afternoon, she vents to Mayuko. She listens quietly, then reminds her not to stress over something so small, but the words do little to lift the weight. Chinatsu can't shake the gloom, remembering how lively their conversations used to be. Her mind drifts to Oz, wondering if he's the cause of all this, until he suddenly appears in the doorway, frowning, and insists he's being blamed for nothing. Without missing a beat, Chinatsu grabs his tie, frustration boiling over as she accuses him of messing things up between her and Nemuro. Oz smirks and throws back a jab about Nemuro being tired of her constant rambling. The words hit harder than she expects, and she falls silent. Mayuko immediately steps in, scolding him for stirring up more trouble. Later, as Nemuro gets ready to leave the classroom, Chinatsu calls out to him. He pauses just long enough to hear her mention they'll meet again tomorrow. He gives a quiet nod before walking off. Chinatsu buries her face in her hands, groaning something under her breath. Mayuko, half amused, reminds her she was the one who used to claim she only liked him for his face. So why is she so upset now that he's not talking to her? She reassures her that things will go back to normal. Chinatsu reluctantly agrees, but before she can say more, Mayuko brings up how Nemuro once mentioned wanting to be her friend. She nudges Chinatsu to go after him, pointing out that since they sit next to each other, letting the silence drag on will only make things more awkward. Nemuro is the type to misunderstand. If she doesn't clear it up, it might only get worse. Chinatsu hesitates, then stands, determined. She says she'll be right back and rushes down the hallway. Thoughts race in her mind, how it all started with just wanting to see his face, but now it's clearly more than that. She spots him on the stairs and calls out, asking if they can talk. Before she can reach him, her foot snags on a broom held by a girl sweeping the hall. She stumbles forward, but Nemuro moves instantly, catching her before she falls. The girls nearby gasp as Chinatsu blinks, realizing she's landed on him. Nemuro looks rattled, but he manages a faint smile and says he's just glad she's okay, before his legs give out and he collapses with her still on top. Takamura rushes to his side. Later he steps out of the infirmary to find Chinatsu waiting. When she asks how he is, he explains it's just a sore back, patched up with a plaster. A brief silence hangs between them until she hands him his bag. He thanks her and she thanks him for catching her, but he brushes it off, saying he's just glad she didn't get hurt. As he turns to leave, she stops him and asks if she did something wrong. Things have felt strange, and she needs to know if it's her fault. He shakes his head, admitting that he misunderstood and got scared. She asks what he means. He explains that he's always worried about how others see him, so he's used to staying quiet and keeping to himself. Being boring and gloomy was a choice, and he was fine with it. Until she started talking to him. At first he thought maybe someone like him could actually have a friend, but then he convinced himself it was just because she was kind or they happened to sit next to each other. Chinatsu grabs his hand and insists she isn't that nice. She talked to him because she wanted to. It wasn't out of politeness or convenience. It was because she genuinely enjoyed spending time with him. Everything she did was to grow closer, so hearing him brush it off as a misunderstanding hurts. Her words leak him stunned. He fumbles for something to say. She crosses her arms, cheeks red, and asks if he's going to respond. Admitting it's embarrassing to say all that out loud, she shifts her weight awkwardly. Suddenly, he bursts into laughter and drops to his knees. She shouts at him not to laugh, but he apologizes, both for misjudging her and for being distant. Looking up with a sincere smile, he tells her he enjoys talking to her too. If she's still willing, he wants them to be friends. Chinatsu smiles, kneeling down beside him without hesitation. Of course she agrees.
Here I am, know it's been a while.